The movie begins with a married woman, Nirmalai, leading a seemingly normal life, working as a child specialist and living with her son. Little did anyone know that her desires would turn her life upside down and entangle her in an illicit love affair. Nirmali's everyday life was boring. She takes her son to the bus station each morning and heads to her clinic. Even though Nirmali has a successful career and a loving family, she feels something is missing. She craved excitement and adventure. On the other hand, a man named Suman is pursuing a degree in food habits. He is passionate about hunting and cooking various types of meat. He lives in a hostel and spends most of his time with his close friends. They created a meat lovers community where they hunt and cook animals. Suman cooks delicious meals and eats them with his friend. Everything is working fine until a coincidence brings Nirmali and Suman together. One day, after enjoying a delicious feast of exotic meats, Suman's friend Rajesh falls sick. Anxious and unsure of what to do, Suman reached out to Nirmali for help. After overcoming her initial hesitation, Nirmali agreed to help. She examines Rajesh and finds that he has overeaten. Returning home, she becomes fascinated by Suman and his meat club. When he asks her about payment, she requests meat from his meat club in exchange. Suman agrees, and the seeds of their unique friendship are sown. Coincidentally, Suman's best friend Elias asks him to follow him to the tea farm. The client offers wild rabbit meat in exchange for removing rabbits from his farm. Suman sees it as an opportunity to get closer to Nirmali. Next day, Suman walked into Nirmali's office with delicious, good-smelling meat. They sat together and ate. It was wild rabbit meat from a local tea farm. Nirmali liked the taste since she had only eaten chicken before. As their shared love of meat grew, so did their friendship. They spent hours discussing different types of meat, experimenting with recipes, and trying out different meat restaurants. However, Suman's best friend, Elias, grew suspicious of his newfound friendship with Nirmali. He reminds him that Nirmali is married and pursuing such a relationship could lead to severe problems. Suman, however, ignored his advice and invited her to lunch. He takes her to the riverside, where they eat fresh fish. Nirmali confesses that her love for meat deepens whenever she eats out with him. Next day, they attend a play together. Throughout the performance, Suman attempts to touch Nirmali. Suddenly, she left in the middle, informing Suman that her husband, Dilip, is arriving tomorrow. It made him feel disheartened. When Nirmali returned home, she found Dilip. He had already arrived to surprise her. Together, they ate dinner. However, Nirmali felt unsatisfied. Her taste buds crave flavorful meat. At night, she sneaks into the kitchen and eats chicken. She tells her husband about Suman, and he suggests inviting him to dinner. The following day, Elias escorts Suman to the bus stop. He advises that this trip is necessary to clear his head of Nirmali's thoughts. This affair is illicit because she is married. Even so, Suman refuses to accept Elias' advice. On the bus, he receives a text from Nirmali inviting him to dinner. Without hesitation, he gets off the bus and decides to stay. At dinner, Nirmali prepared Suman's favorite meat dishes. Jumi, Nirmali's best friend, noticed the glances between Suman and Nirmali, hoping Dilip wouldn't see a growing love. Suman enters the bathroom and finds Nirmali's clothing. Feeling aroused, he sniffs it. He quickly returns to the dinner table when someone knocks. They all discuss bizarre meats. Suman mentions that so many people eat unusual meats like bats and horses. Nirmali becomes excited and wants to try it. Suman visits Elias and tells him about his lunch date. Elias urges him to stop and tells him he is a useful idiot, a brilliant distraction in her dull life. Nirmali's craving for meat reached new heights, and she relied on Suman to provide even rarer and more exotic meats. Similarly, Suman's desire to feel Nirmali gets out of control. He starts seeing wet dreams and feeling erotic every night. This strange fascination with meat consumption led them to a chilling and twisted decision. To satisfy her desires, he decides to make a special dish from his flesh. Elias thinks he's crazy, but Suman lies and says it's for an experiment, which induces him to agree. Obsessed with Nirmali, Suman cooks a dish using his flesh and eggs. After packing the tiffin, he takes it to her office. Since she has been busy with a patient, he gives it to the receptionist. That night, Nirmali enjoyed the dish and was eager to eat more. Due to Dilip's frequent absences, Nirmali became more attracted to Suman and their shared love of meat. As they meet, Suman hesitates, but eventually reveals that the meat is his flesh. Hearing this, she leaves and throws up. Then, what happened was scary. She called Suman to return his tiffin box. But her obsession takes over, and she demands more flesh from Suman. So he returns to Elias, who unwillingly cuts another piece without knowing the truth. This twisted routine becomes normal for them. Every day, Suman prepares various dishes, using his flesh to feed Nirmali's obsession. A few days later, Nirmali offers Suman a delicious meal she prepared with her flesh. Shocked, Suman vomits. But as they grew closer, their fascination with each other continued to grow by trying each other's flesh. However, Nirmali's obsession is so intense that everything else becomes tasteless. Suman found this satisfying. He believes that eating each other's flesh will keep them close forever, and she will never leave. But for Nirmali, things are different. She asks Suman about places that serve human meat because she does not want to harm him further. She is now desperately searching for a permanent solution. Driven by love, Suman comes to Elias and requests him to cut off his toe, ready to do anything to satisfy Nirmali. Elias becomes suspicious and confronts Suman, he admits, to feeding his flesh to Nirmali. This is a new way of getting physical with her, and they both enjoy it. After hearing this, he becomes enraged and refuses to cut off Suman's toe or flesh. Instead, he calls him sick and asks to return home to his parents before things get out of hand. Suman texts Nirmali about Elias's refusal, pushing her further into cannibalism. Unable to control herself, Nirmali invites Suman to the hospital and takes him to the morgue. She intends to cut flesh from a recently deceased accident victim. Shocked, Suman refuses to help Nirmali in cutting flesh from the dead body. Instead, he offers his flesh, but she complains it's not enough. When the morgue attendant appears, they leave. Nirmali expresses her intense craving for human flesh. She wants to eat until she is full, or else her hunger for human flesh will consume her. Therefore, she plans to kill someone using poison since it is the easiest method, but she is afraid the poison will contaminate the meat. Suman assures her that he will satisfy her craving for meat. It all started with him, and he will end it. Suman goes out that night, searching for a target. Nirmali texts him not to bring the whole body at once. Instead, cut them into pieces, and they will cook them together at her clinic. After buying a knife, he finds a suitable victim, a cab driver. As the driver drops him off, Suman attacks and kills him. Then he drags the body to a dark corner. One of the police officers noticed him cutting up a body. He runs away, but unfortunately, he gets caught by a police officer. They take him to the police station for interrogation. Nirmali keeps texting Suman and waiting anxiously for him. When the officer notices Suman's phone buzzing, he reads their incriminating conversation. After Nirmali returns home the following day from dropping off her child, the police also arrest her. National media cover their arrest, and it goes viral. Elias rushes to the police station, devastated, while Dilip gets furious. In the film's epilogue, Suman and Nirmali are brought outside the police station for a media briefing. During their final moments together, Nirmali grabs Suman's hand for the last time. What began as a shared passion for meat ultimately destroyed their lives. The story of Nirmali and Suman is a cautionary tale, warning us of obsession dangers. The capacity for darkness resides within us, and the line between passion and obsession can be thin. Ultimately, it is up to each individual to recognize and resist the temptation to cross that line. Otherwise, we will be lost in darkness. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggestions for future movies, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.